People of Earth, we know. You all feel like we're the bad guys because my dad and I took over your planet. But you're going to be part of the Viltrum Empire now. That means no one goes hungry, no one dies from cancer, and no one ever messes with Earth again. Look, I didn't get it at first either, but I came around and you will come around too. And in the long run, you'll thank us. But you need to remember, the more you resist, the worse this gets. We didn't destroy your cities. You destroyed them by fighting back. Your new Viltrumite rulers are on the way, and it's time to join us in welcoming them. And if you still think you can stop us, don't forget, I'm invincible.
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Jayme.
And we are back. Invincible is back on Amazon Prime, and that's what this episode is all about. So finally, we get season 2, episode 1. It dropped on, I believe, Friday, which is, well, we're doing this the 7th. I can't even remember the dates. That's how bad
Friday
it
would have been the
is.
first.
No, the 3rd.
No, 3rd, yeah.
So, yeah.
Because Halloween was a Tuesday.
Yep, November 3rd on Friday, November 3rd, it dropped. So, yeah, I didn't put out anything out, but we will put out for episodes 2, 3, and 4 when they do come out. So that way you can leave some sort of feedback. But you have this in the meantime to cover yourself. And if you haven't watched it, obviously, spoiler-full episode, stop the podcast now, go watch the episode, and come back to us. Unless you like to be spoilered, you could just sit here and listen to us and have our
do whatever your heart
conversation.
desires.
Exactly. So, of course, this is the Amazon series Invincible, created by Robert Kirkman, and comic, which was adapted to anime. So if you have not watched the episode, obviously, I already stated it. I'm just reading everything that Jayme had wrote, which is funny. But
Jayme copied from an old script.
It's okay. But everybody gets the idea. That's the whole point. But Invincible Season 2, Episode 1, entitled A Lesson for Your Next Life. So the synopsis, Jayme, what is it?
Mark struggles with his responsibilities as Invincible and encounters an unexpected enemy. That could have been any of the episodes of Season 1.
Exactly.
Well, maybe not the unexpected enemy part. That maybe was only half the episodes of Season 1, but
yeah, 1 or 2. When you got what's his name with the Cyclops? I forgot his name on that.
Wasn't it Cyclops?
He had
Am I wrong?
I don't know. I forget. Seth Rogen voiced him. That's all I remembered. It was like he was pretty cool, and he misunderstood Mark. And he got into a fight, and then next thing you know, they're sitting on a meteor and they were having a conversation.
I have to be honest. I love podcasting on Amazon Prime shows because you can pause and you can see exactly what every character is named, because my brain does not keep names in. So
it is a benefit, and I do agree with that too, especially when you get to see the actor's name and who they are playing too, because you got Ross Marquand, Walter Goggins. We have obviously, Stephen Yeun, and we got J.K. Simmons back as Omni-Man in this particular episode. So spoiler there, everybody.
And our new addition for the season, Sterling K. Brown, who I love. And
Sterling K. Brown plays
Angstrom.
Yep. Yeah, pretty cool. And it was a good voice in addition to it.
Yeah, it was a perfect voice for it.
Yeah, which is an alternate version of a character that we already know, obviously. But,
yes.
Initial thoughts. What were your initial thoughts about the episode overall?
I am so glad we're back with this show. I forgot how much I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I hadn't had time to go back and watch the first season again, but the story's captivating. The art is gorgeous, and there's gore, and I love gore.
I feel the same way. Obviously, I love gore too, but the fact that they could do with so much ultra violence, as I like to call it, in the animation form, and they could get away with it, and on top of that, less CG
Yeah.
or practical effects at that point, but they could do it in a way of telling, so that way it's not in your face and it's not upsetting to some people because some people don't like the sight of blood. But I really did enjoy the episode because in the very beginning, it's kind of a twist because we see an alternate world where
I fell for that.
you did. I knew
Yes.
right away. I was like, as soon as I saw, I was like, wait a minute. I remember where we left off, and that was Mark bloody as hell after literally, beating the crap out of his father, and his father gone, and
But that I still have you. Ugh.
yeah,
Ugh.
yep,
So I thought it was
yes.
possible he went to the dark side.
No, I knew that wasn't going to happen. I knew this was some sort of alternate universe. Now with everything that's going on with the MCU, DCU, everything else, everything's multiverse. So I knew it was a setup right away, but it was really eerie though to see Mark in cahoots and being father and son taking over the earth. And we get to see that perspective of what Earth would be like while they take over, waiting for the rest of Viltrum to come take over the Earth itself completely and enslave the human populace. So it was a nice way. Plus, we did get to see a different version of the rebellion of the Guardians of the Globe, and unfortunately, Mark kills them too, along with Omni Man, except for Eve, who he winds up paralyzing in that universe.
Dude. When Omni-Man said to him, "Oh, is that what you were practicing on the protesters?"
Yeah.
What?
Meaning that he's been doing it. He's completely turned, but he still had an affection for Eve to keep her alive. And that was the whole point why he was practicing. So
Oh
it's
my
still it's a
God.
bit sick and sinister, even on Mark's part in this alternate universe. Now, my question is, are we going to see alternate universe Mark face Mark from our universe at the end of this? It would be interesting to see that, as well as see Omni Man come into play from that universe as well, because we know that we have Immortal. He's back after they pieced him back together last season, at the end of last season. And I did enjoy the overall aspect. I love seeing the Guardians of the Globe together. I love that we do have a new villain in the making. We see the development of that
Yeah,
character.
we don't always
don't-
start with the origin story.
No.
It was kind of nice to see it from the get-go and watch him go bad.
Yeah, even though he recruited a couple of bad people we know from the first season, Mauler and Mauler 2.
I love the Mauler twins.
The Mauler twins are funny. And then we get everything else involved regarding the chaos and everything, especially Mark's issue of wanting to be with the Guardians of the Globe and doing it, and Cecil trying to parent him due to the issues. And it's only been 6 weeks or something like that since the issue with Omni Man and everything and all that had happened. So Cecil is trying to be more of a parent with him, with his superpowers and how he should handle mentally, because I think Cecil doesn't want to have another Omni Man on his hands.
And I don't think he trusts Mark.
I think he trusts Mark to a degree.
To a degree. But I don't think...
But Immortal doesn't trust him at all.
Well, based on how the episode started in the alternate universe, I can understand why.
Yeah, exactly. But we're going to bring up things that we did like within the episode itself, that as our discussion points. Obviously, you listeners have watched it. If you haven't, we're going to bring up some cool scenes, things that we liked within the episode, and where we think this is going to go. because there was a little bit more character development within it that I'm glad that we got. And I kind of have a few snippets of character developments, especially a love interest that's there that we knew from last season. And then on top of that, caring from other characters, as well as, well, we didn't really mention it, Mark's mother going through her whole issue too,
Oh
after
yeah.
all said and done. So, but Jamie, what's your first like point that you like to bring up that you liked about the episode?
Actually, Debbie was my first point.
Oh, okay, cool.
That works out really well. It, not just the gore with this, but the character development and the just dealing with this is an adult comic. This is an adult cartoon. This and seeing Debbie as and all her emotions, and she's got no one to tell until Olga finally shows up. And just her being crushed. I mean, she finds out her husband's an asshole and thought of her as a pet.
Yeah.
But
well, the
also,
fact that he points it out too back then, and he said it to her, you were a pet and for 20 years.
Yeah. Like, but also you've got this relationship, like it doesn't matter how much of a jerk your husband was. Like you have to mourn this marriage. You have to mourn the loss.
Mm.
And she's just alone. She's had no one. And it just hit really hard. Like I felt so bad for her. And she's still also pulling it together to be a great mom to Mark.
Yeah, and she's still, she's there to comfort her own son, understands about him, and it's really a mother's love for her son. And she's more concerned about him than she is herself. It's not until we see Olga show up. And, I love how Debbie thinks that Olga's going to kill her. Well, she goes, I wouldn't use a knife. I would use poison. Haha. It's like
also true.
But I thought it was nice that she was there to help comfort Debbie and state, he was an asshole. You need to let go and you need to live your life and just try to put that behind you because you got a lot more to live for, which is really good of her. It's being a friend because, regardless of her husband being killed by a Omni-Man too. But that was the whole thing. And, the fact that, I think we're going to see more of Debbie involved with Mark's life, especially now that he got into college.
Right.
So towards the end, we find out him and I think what was it, Amber?
Amber, yeah.
Yeah, they both open up their acceptance letters or their letters from the college that they wanted to go to. And he was hoping that they both got into the same college and that's how they were going to do it. And he was so happy, even though she what did she say in the very beginning? It's like, I didn't get in. And then she turned it around and then he goes, I got in. It was like, awesome. So, and then now he could imagine that. So it's a healthy relationship for him. I think, it is, she is human, but she does understand everything.
So she's his pet.
Oh, come on. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's her pet.
Yeah.
Hopefully she trains him the right way to be a good person, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but
No, she's a good match for him.
But a lot of guys do need a woman to guide them. Coming from somebody who knows. And I'm not married or have a girlfriend. So but for me, I have like a bunch of notes regarding this, but when it comes to the multiple maulers that we do get within it, and I love how Angstrom and his because he comes from an alternate universe, he wants to gather all the other Angstroms from the other multiversal worlds to come together to feed because they have more knowledge of with their own mini multiverse of their own in their own universes. So he wants to combine all their thoughts so he could be in control and have their abilities and their thoughts and to do what he needs to make the world a better place. But he enlists the Mauler twins, and at the very end we see multiple Maulers, and he goes, I feel betrayed. You said we were the only ones.
I loved looking at all of the Maulers. Like they had them all different. Like
Yeah,
you
they were
could
all
tell
different. One looked like a
instead of-
robotic one. One
There's a
had a
girl.
beard and hair. Yeah, one with the huge boobs and muscle on her. She looked like a She-Hulk.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
yeah,
and Angstrom too. Like they were all obviously different. Like that takes a lot of work instead of just you could easily make them all look the same and be just a tiny bit different. But the animators put a lot of work into making them all look very different. Like you immediately knew what was going on.
mm-hmm.
They each told a story. Like it was.
And they
It was
each
so
all
well
had their
done.
own personalities too, even
Yeah.
though they one of the same Mauler, because it's the same character, just different variations of them. But
Yeah.
it's something
Clones.
that yeah, it's kind of like if you look at when we cover Loki here, the different versions of Kang or uh I'm forgetting the other versions of Mr. Mr. Timely or whatever, different versions of Kang, literally. But at least they give them individual personalities, and when they're working together, obviously within live action is a little bit different, but in this case, they can easily create multiple animated versions and have multiple different voice actors do it.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Anything else?
Mauler twins were my
Big one.
no, they were my number 3.
Oh,
They were
okay.
I love the Mauler twins. Like I liked them last season. I still like them. Like they're
Humorous.
bad guys. Yeah. They're fun. Yes, they're bad guys, but they're not evil. They're just out for themselves.
Yeah.
Which there's a fine line between that. I mean, you'd still rather have somebody who was a little more selfless, but sometimes having, people who are just looking out for themselves is still pretty.
Yeah. There's a dedicated thought within the Mauler twins of like, they just want wealth and power and whatever.
Yeah.
But
and the running joke of you don't know who's the clone and who's the original.
That's always constant with these two.
Which I don't know now. Okay, so the end.
Mm-hmm.
Where we have one Mauler. We don't have Mauler twins anymore. We have one Mauler.
Correct.
And I couldn't tell if he was damaged or if he fused with his brother. Like, is it 2 in 1 right now? Or is it
I'm confused too.
Or is it a damaged one? And if we have a damaged one, is that damage going to go through on the clone? And therefore we don't have that joke anymore? Or we're going to know which one's the clone and which one's not because one's going to be damaged and one's not.
Maybe he'll have multiple personalities because he's got 2 in him and we don't know yet. Because the conversation is, look at what you've done to me. Because half his face is kind of mutated and the other half is pretty much normal. And he's got a mutation to it, just like Angstrom, because Angstrom, if you look at it, it's like as if all the Angstroms that were in that experiment to combine
are now in his brain.
Yeah, in his brain, it got to the point of even physically, he looked like something out of Basket Case, but 10 times bigger, if you remember that movie back in the early 80s, that horror movie. That was actually about twin brothers too. But in this case, I think the machine kind of melded Angstroms, like the different Angstroms together, and then probably the same way. Well, that might have what happened to the Mauler twins. They might have melded together. So
yeah, that's what I was trying to. I wasn't entirely sure what they were trying, and I'm sure we'll find out next season, like the next episode.
I'm pretty sure
too. And I'm excited to see it.
Yeah,
but I couldn't quite tell, and I don't know if it was just me or if they were just not being blatant with it as to whether it was the Maulers combined or one with a lot of damage. And either way, I'm really interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, same here. One one thing I really did enjoy, and it's a scene with the Guardians of the Globe when they're fighting the Giant. And you all things because it's such a comedic kind of thing, but even Robot states it's like he's got the mental capacity of an 8-year-old because he screams out, he goes, "I just want to be president of the United States of America and an astronaut." I thought it was hilarious.
There was a point in my life where those were my career goals.
I think everybody had that at one point. But I thought it was pretty cool how they all come together collectively and were able to dispatch him as well. But during that fight, we get Rex talking to Robot, and we see them come together, and that's where the relationship part of it comes to, because we saw that relationship last season in the first season.
Yeah.
And we know Rex was dealing with the issues of whenever she changes, it depreciates her life, and Robot kind of found a way to fix that for her. So she's a girl, but instead of aging up like she does after time, every time she turns into Rex, then he kind of stopped that aging process. But this is the real Robot at this point, but he's a boy inside the robot suit, so he's still trying to learn to be human at times.
And it's more scary, like feeling fear for the first time, like actually being out there, being able to be hurt versus being a computer screen.
Yeah. And he describes it to her, and she's kind of laughs, and as the Rex, she goes to Robot, "Don't worry, you'll get used to it, just like the first time you used the toilet." But it's nice to see that, but also there is compassion into it, and then a love there for him. And you could see that too when Rex saves Robot, because he was having that kind of panic attack inside the suit, and that's why he froze and was sweaty and didn't know how to react. So I really did enjoy that, because you do see that relationship, and you're going to see it progress, I think. And hopefully it's not devastating in the end, because we know how this show could be, or these comics could be
Seriously.
at times. But also through that, after that situation, though, we have Cecil putting Immortal in charge of the new Guardians of the Globe. And Rex is not having it with bringing Bulletproof into the group.
Yeah, that group is struggling.
Yeah. So they're still kids, and they're still learning to react and learn. Adam Eve obviously is not there. She wasn't there for that fight, from what I recall. Nope. So, but they're all trying to learn to work together, which they did. Rex at the end, not Rex. Who was it? I just said his name. I'm an idiot. But yeah, no, it was Rex at the end. I got the girl wrong with Rex, but I don't know. I forgot her name when she turns. But regardless, Rex is the one that came at the end with the bombs around the Giant's feet to drop him down into the sewer. So I got the wrong character before that was talking to Robot. But
I knew who you were talking about. It's fine.
Exactly. I'm sure listeners too. But if you're first time listening, you could yell at me later in comments. But I like that, the fact that, we do have him, and Immortal is just acting like the typical captain of the team and get barking orders. Be ready in 30 minutes. I have your attendant. It's like right there. He's there to get things done because he's got an agenda, because he doesn't want it to be like the previous Guardians of the Globe that was there. Plus, at that time, he was under Omni-Man's thumb. Omni-Man was in charge at that time. So, now he's in charge. But he also has a little anger in him, as we all know. He's been around a few hundred years. A few hundred or 1,000 years, I forget.
That was a few thousand.
Okay. But yeah, he was also chopped up the bits and then brought back together.
Yeah.
I would be sour.
That crew's got a lot going on.
Oh yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of character building and team building within that. during that
Yeah.
time. And then obviously Mark getting Cecil's approval to come back to help out. And thus what happens at Angstrom's lab with the Maulers and that encounter. And then we see the devastation on Mark because he sees all the blood. It's all over his face. And then Cecil and the rest of the Guardians are trying to say, hey, they brought this upon themselves. We were there trying to stop them from doing something worse. Mark, you're taking this too hard, which is showing caring from them, but it's also showing growth within him because he's showing remorse for what's going on in comparison to what we saw in the very beginning, which was his alternate version that was just killing blatantly with no remorse, except for one person. But
Right.
yeah, I think this is a great setup for something that we might see come to head with different versions of Mark.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this unfold.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, that's about it. What I have for notes overall. We already talked about you talked about your points, which are very similar to mine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The only thing I didn't mention, the use of karma police in the opening alternate
I have that
reality
in my
scene.
notes too. Yeah, by Radiohead.
That was brilliant.
That was a segue from seeing the multiverse, but Mark flying and doing all the good deeds that he could do as a superhero on his own without Cecil's, understanding or being in charge of him. So, and Cecil knew that he was doing all this stuff. He putting out the fire on a rig with the water from the sea, stopping that elephant-looking dude, which I thought was pretty cool. And then there was a couple of others, somebody with lava in their mouth, spraying it all over and stopping them as well. So there are other mutants out there or super villains. So yeah, I did enjoy that too. I'm not a huge Radiohead fan, but I do enjoy that song.
It was used brilliantly.
Yeah, it fit perfectly to the scene and how Mark was feeling, if you think about it. And yeah, it worked.
And then my only other thing was, I don't know if I just missed him because I only got a chance to watch it once, but where was William, my favorite?
Good question. Hopefully he'll come out.
He was my favorite last season. I didn't see him.
Well, I don't have any other notes. The only one I would have would be Amber saving Mark from Todd. Because Todd was like, oh, sorry about your father. He looked like
he wasn't being an asshole.
To some degree. He goes, oh, I'm surprised those jeans didn't wear on you. Your father was a diesel-looking dude. And it's like, oh, he died. And blah, blah, blah. And you could see the look on, Mark's face. And he was getting upset because he couldn't control it.
And he didn't want to talk about it.
He didn't want to talk about it. And I think it was because the way they made Mark's real father die was through an accident. Because that's, the school doesn't know that,
right?
Omni-Man was Mark's father. So, but Mark couldn't. It's one of those like Buffy the Vampire Slayer issues of like she is hurting over something. Maybe Angel killed a friend or mother. I don't know. But that's a different podcast on Podcastica. But it gave me those feelings of like when a hero has been hurt in their own personal life, but it also is also in reference to what they do in their superhero life, but they can't talk about it because the other person doesn't know. Right. And it's such a hard thing to see, but Amber knew, and Amber kind of like blocked it away.
Well, she knew he didn't want to talk about it. And Todd was not being an asshole, trying not to be an asshole, but couldn't read the room.
It was inadvertently being an asshole. Also with Eve talking to Mark as well, saying, if Cecil can't understand that, then you need to do something. So she goes, I know you've been doing all these things. And she goes, then talk to Cecil. You need to be part of that. And then he wound up doing it. And then he was like, get this man an earpiece. And I was like, okay. Yeah, it's like kind of like the Captain America thing in Endgame or Infinity War. Get this man a shield. But I have a few other quotes, one of which came from Mahler's Mauler 2 to Mauler 1. And it's when they're in prison when they see the portal show up, and he goes, Mauler 2 goes, "Did you?" And Mauler 1's like, "Oh yeah, I ship portals now. Didn't I
Yep.
tell you that?" And then they just go. Leave it to the Mauler twins.
That was my favorite quote of the show too.
Oh, okay. Did you have any or?
Yeah. Well, I had that one. And
Oh,
then,
sorry.
oh no, it was a great quote. One of us was bound to get to it. I can't force you to help me, but I can leave you here forever or somewhere worse. Like that was a good. Like you don't have to do what I'm saying, but your life's gonna suck if you don't do it.
Yeah.
But then the Maulers followed that up with, "I miss when we only worked for ourselves." Me too.
I have one more, and that'll be the last one I have. I don't. It's Mark saying to Cecil, "I don't need your permission to be a superhero," and then Cecil's response is, "You know who else said that? Your dad." Meaning that Cecil didn't want another Omni-Man on his hands, and that Mark needed to heal before he actually came back mentally and to deal with his own father's death and his family before he could go back into doing superheroic work. But I think Cecil saw an opportunity for Mark to show and prove himself, and that was what we saw at the end. Unfortunately, resulted in a new villain.
Yes.
Angstrom Levy.
Which, okay. So my last quote goes with yours, which is, "I'm not my dad." But okay, Angstrom, we didn't really touch on this.
Yeah.
Is wrong. He did it. He took off the helmet. Yes, Mark showed up and screwed things up.
Yes.
But Angstrom taking off the helmet is what messed everything up.
Hmm.
He did it to himself.
He did. And he didn't realize he created himself being a villain in the end. Because now everything, he says it flat out. And that was part of my notes, is like, Angstrom's out just for revenge right now. He's doing the exact thing that he didn't want happen to other people, but he's going to cause it now, which is bloodshed.
Which I didn't know that I necessarily believed his, "Oh, I'm a good guy. I'm just looking to heal people and take the best from each reality and blah, blah, blah." I don't know why. I just didn't believe that. And the fact that you can go so evil so fast means I don't think he was all altruistic to begin with.
No, I think there was an underlining villainous tone to him anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe it was his way of getting the Maulers to make him that way. Maybe subconsciously, maybe it was consciously, and he just doesn't want to say it outrightly in front of Mauler.
Right.
At this point, we got
but it's going to be
Mauler
interesting to
2.0.
watch. Yeah, I'm so excited to see what happens with the Maulers. But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out and how much he blames Mark when it wasn't Mark.
Exactly. Well, I think a lot of villains always do that at a certain point. You did this to me. Well, you did this to me. The kind of like the Joker and the Keaton Batman, and Joker goes, "Well, you did this to me. Well, you did this to me." And so it's Batman and him together saying the same thing.
I think it's a narcissism thing.
It is. It's a guy thing. Did I say that out loud? Damn it.
You can cut it out if you want.
Nah, I'll leave it in.
I know will.
I'm sure like all the other males out there, they're going to be like, yeah, you're right. But other than that I think that was our coverage on the episode. It was kind of quick. It was literally almost like 45 minutes total.
Yeah.
Or 40 minutes without credits or things of that nature. So, but it does go by quick, and that's what makes it easier to go watch it again, to pick up little things here and there that you do enjoy. So if you didn't watch the episode, go to Amazon Prime, check it out, and take note of what we were just talking about.
And everybody has Amazon Prime because everybody has Amazon.
That is true. But other than that, right now we're since we covered it completely, we'll just go right into podcast recommendations.
I am highly enjoying Strange Indeed right now, between The Fall of the House of Usher and The Great British Bake Off.
Awesome.
They are just covering two of my favorite things going on right now.
Myself, I'm enjoying on podcast the Buffyverse Still Slaying with Penny, and I was on the second episode, which was pretty cool. It was all about Halloween. I look forward to coming back if and when I'm asked to come back by Penny, because I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer show when it was out. I was a big Buffy head. It's
I
funny
never
too.
got into it.
I know. It's pretty funny too, because everybody goes, I thought you would just love Angel. And I'm like, I wasn't really a big, huge fan of it. I have the series. I've watched it a couple of times, but I always go back to Buffy. I don't know why. And it's not because it's a girl. I think it has to do with the fact that the empowerment of a girl having powers and then struggling with it as being a teenager. But I've also been enjoying, and I didn't even submit any feedback, and I just started listening to Revisited. We have to go back. Ted Lasso with Kristen and Ben, and I'm getting a good giggle out of it. I didn't even have to rewatch the show as they were covering it when I'm listening to it in the work vehicle. I'm like, yep, I remember that scene. Yep, I remember that. And it's just like it just brings and it makes you want to just binge it on a weekend or something if you the first season. But
we
I
have a
think
tendency in this house to throw on Ted Lasso, either Ted Lasso or Schitt's Creek when there's nothing else on and we just want something on in the background. One of those shows goes on and then we just always finish the series.
Yeah. But yeah, I would give those recommendations out there. We don't really do YouTube recommendations anymore, but if you have any, Jamie, you're more than welcome to.
I didn't come with any.
Okay. But where else can listeners hear you, or where they could find you in further podcasts?
Currently here.
Obviously.
And then I'm going to record with Damien on Watched It in the 80s. We're going to be doing E.T. It should be out around Thanksgiving.
Awesome. And you and I will be covering Friday the 13th, part 4, the final chapter, eventually, and getting that out on Adrenaline Cinema podcast.
Eventually.
Yeah. But
Monster Mania this weekend, and they've got somebody from Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, Kersinger?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's the
no, not Kersinger, not Jason. One of the cop's son.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then Alice Cooper.
I met Alice a couple of times. He's awesome.
Yeah,
but
because he's the first song ever put in Friday the 13th that wasn't created for Friday the 13th.
It was created for Friday the 13th.
But I mean, it was not like a legit singer, not just a soundtracky song.
Yeah. Yeah. The man behind the mask was huge for Friday the 13th, part 6.
Was it 6? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't Kane yet.
Nope. It was CJ Graham.
Yep.
In that one. Yeah, we're nerding out, everybody. Yeah, as you can tell, this is what we do on the Adrenaline Cinema podcast. If you don't listen to that,
CJ Graham is actually going to be there too, and they're doing a photo op with Alice Cooper and CJ Graham in costume.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And CJ's actually really cool. His lines usually aren't that huge. The last time I saw him at Monster Mania,
yeah, I've met him.
He's very accommodating and really nice.
Talked to him a few times. Yeah, he's really cool.
But yeah. You could hear me here, obviously, on Panels to Pixels podcast with doing Invincible. Rob and I will be finishing up Gen V, which I think we're going to just combine a lot of the remaining episodes together, as well as Loki Season 2 with Steve Brown. He and I are going to cover 5 and 6 together. By the time you get this, I would have already had episodes 3 and 4 coverage for Loki Season 2 out as well. Sorry for the delay, everybody. It was been ever since I got back from Massachusetts. It's been crazy. So
you were in Massachusetts?
I was in Massachusetts with you.
I know.
But yeah, it was our podcasters retreat, as I usually tell everybody when I do these kind of things. It's pretty funny because majority of us there have been on podcasts or do podcasts. But we had a good time and a drunken good time. And yeah, as you could tell, Jamie and I are horror fans, and she had a bunch of a deck of trivia cards, which was so
Yes,
funny.
that we were drunkenly playing.
But she was like, "You got that one? Oh my god, I didn't know that one."
Or I'd read it and I'm like, oh, that's a gimme. Like, I don't even want to
Yeah.
read this. It's so easy.
Yeah, you're just trying to train your boyfriend Tony on that stuff.
He's not bad.
It's good. He's learning. He's finding out.
He's learning.
But
He's got to learn about podcasts. He's just finally after the Boston weekend started jumping into podcasts. So maybe he'll actually listen to some of mine.
there you go.
He's listening to Rima and Paige and Daphne.
He's got to listen to yours and give and send some feedback, hopefully.
Well, I've got to do something he's interested in. So there's that too.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. But yeah, you could hear me here, obviously, on Panels to Pixels podcast with all the multiple other stuff that we do, as I mentioned. And you could hear me on Final Fantasy Picks Movie Edition with Rob, Adam, and Frank. So you guys know what's going on there. It's literally a fantasy pick of movies for a certain genre, top fives, or if we decide to try to change a movie that was really bad in the theater or just had poor reaction, how would you fix that film? Music, script, actors, director, what have you. And that's usually what we do there. That's Rob's podcast on Pyrocore Entertainment, so you can check that out. All you have to do is go to pyrocoreentertainment.com. And as well as you can hear me on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. So what we have out currently is I put out The Wolfman. Unfortunately, that was late, obviously, due to Massachusetts and me being busy coming back to work. So I didn't get it out for Halloween, but you got it nonetheless. It's still out there. Ben Elmore and I had covered it. And as well as Total Recall, the original 90 version, not the remake that was out there. So Jason Kabasi, who is head of podcast, the Podfather himself, joined me on that. We talked about and reminisced about Total Recall. So that was pretty cool. And then I will let you guys know exactly what's coming out. Like I said, Jamie and I intend on doing Friday the 13th final chapter. Jerry and I look forward to doing at least one other Apes movie, and there's a couple of other people that are in on the list that I have to bring back to say, hey, remember a long time ago you said you do this? So I'm going to bring them out there. But you could always send in suggestions too for that particular podcast. So if there's something that you want us to cover, because obviously we cover anything action, adventure, fantasy, thriller, suspense, basically anything to get your adrenaline going. Just send it there. Just send us a suggestion on the Facebook page, which is
suggest
easily.
A movie, suggest who should cover it with Mark.
Or do you want to cover it?
Or do you want to cover it with Mark?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I accept anybody, because anybody at this point can guest. It's an easy format. But yeah, you can check that out too as well on pyrocoreentertainment.com. All you have to do
Mark is
check.
the best co-host. He does all of the heavy lifting.
I'm not a bodybuilder by far.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. But other than that, just to talk about that, like I said, if you want to suggest anything, to submit your feedback here, literally all you have to do is go to our Facebook page, which would be facebook.com/panels to pixels. Generally, I put an image. With this one, I didn't. But when I put an image of what we're covering next, I say leave it in the comments below that image. Do so, send it there. You could send a messenger through their Facebook Messenger if you prefer as well. I get those as well. You can email us, panels to pixels1@gmail.com. So it's panels, 2 is spelled out, TO, and pixels and the number 1@gmail.com. Just write out a texted email. We'll read it on the podcast. It could be related to what we're currently doing or something that we have already done that you've heard before, and it's all accepted, and we'll reference it. And
or
we'll
a tangent we went on during this podcast.
That too.
You can also send audio.
Yeah, as well. All you have to do is record yourself on the device that you're at, your phone, your tablet, whatever, and just send that as an attachment. To show the love, if you could please send some sort of rating or review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, because we could be found easily on those. And Apple Podcast seems to be the one player of choice that everybody is able to attain or figure out where to listen to your podcast. A 5-star would be greatly appreciated, but I always ask everybody to be honest. You could also find us on YouTube. So all you have to do is search Panels to Pixels podcast. Keep that in mind, podcast at the end, because Josh has the regular Panels to Pixels that's out there out in England. But I love what he does. But you want Panels to Pixels podcast, just search for it. I put out the podcast as is. If I'm doing an interview or any video thing, it'll be up there. You can check it out. You could see probably panels that I've done, like with Tony Moore. I think I linked everything from Adrenaline there too. You could see the interviews with the comic book men themselves, Mike and Ming, or even Kevin Smith himself. So I'm looking forward to do more interviews in the near future. I just got to reach out. The SAG after strikes hopefully will come and go away.
Dude, why is that still going on?
I know. I think they're coming to some sort of an agreement soon.
They've been saying that for weeks now.
I hope so, but I'm hoping to at least get somebody back on. Hopefully I could get Russ Marquand on, who I've written recently, but he knows Ming. And he knows my voice and my name. Hell, he did the intro to Panels to Pixels, which I should actually use again.
Should use that, yeah.
He did introduce us. I got him at a Walker Stalker when he was doing the voice for Red Skull. But anyhow, yeah, while you're on YouTube, literally just click the subscribe button if you're interested in doing that. Hit the bell so you're notified with anything, and then give a thumbs up. It's really greatly appreciated. And also word of mouth helps us to get more listeners. So if you have a friend, tell them, and then they'll be able to hear us. So with that, I just want to thank everybody for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Jayme.
This was Panels to Pixels podcast. So keep in mind, same podcast, different panel, different pixel. And we'll see you on the next panel. Good night, everybody.
Night.